Have you ever thought to yourself, is trauma something that's stopping me, or is it really just me? Or how about this? If you really think deeply, is this the way I am, or did I turn this way because of some trauma? Welcome to the Black Man Black Health Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Carson. We're going to talk about the subject. Does trauma really stop us? Now, we're going to start off by letting you know I am not a therapist. I'm just a man who loves to learn about mental health. And I have therapists as friends, and I am in actual therapy as well by a professional, right? Not just some homie. Now, I was talking to a therapist, just talking. This wasn't a session, and she said something that blew me away, right? I always say I'm an introvert. I always say this is how I am. This is how I've always been. And she said, could it be that you're maybe not an introvert, but because of certain traumas, you've learned to just isolate, or you've learned to be by yourself? Now, the way she asked, it made me get more curious versus I didn't get offended. I was like, there's something behind what she just said. So let's see what's behind what she just said. So I thought about that and I was like, hey, I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna go brainstorm it today after I get off the episode and see what comes up. The second thing that she said that threw me back. You remember the episode where Home Alone 2, where Macaulay Culkin is in his uncle's house and he's upstairs and he throws this brick at the robber Marv. It hits him in the head. Go watch it or look up YouTube. You will see it. That's how it hit me. She said sometimes trauma can cause you to lose your voice. And man, I wrote it down and it hit me so hard, and it brought up so many stories that I've told myself. It brought up so many times that I felt completely uh not worth it. There's been tons of insecurities that I've had in my life, and they've come from just trauma. I didn't know until she mentioned something like that trauma could be the thing that helps you or starts to make you lose your voice. What do I mean by lose your voice? Like, you stop speaking up about a certain thing. You stop talking about a certain thing because you just feel it's not going to make any difference anyway. Why does anybody want to help me? Why does anybody want to come to this event that I'm throwing? And you don't realize that that's a trauma response. As a black man, a lot of times we don't realize that some of our trauma responses are because someone didn't pay attention to us when we were younger. Someone didn't give us the time that we needed. Someone didn't give us the attention that we wanted or desired, and we become sometimes calloused because we haven't healed from it. With everything that we do with Black Man, Black Health, we start to realize that the physical part, the spiritual part, and the mental part, they all they all play a part with each other. They all play a part. You can be really, really good at being in shape and be really, really suffering spiritually. You can be really, really good spiritually and suffering physically. The goal is to get them all, maybe like 33 point however percentage to equal 100 for all three of them. You want to get those in balance, right? As much as you can. And let me tell you right now, that's not easy. It's not easy. Now, when she said this, I thought about what were some of the traumas that I encountered that I'd be willing to share. Like, I'm an open book, but a couple of them I want to share that made a big difference. Playing the piano, right? I know how to play the piano, but I never learned how to play the piano by reading music. I never got taught how to play the piano. I learned by just hearing. Now, certain people may say, that's amazing. That's a gift. It could be like that. But for my first 4 years of playing, I was really, really embarrassed because I didn't know what I was doing. So I was literally walking up to the piano and just pressing whatever my hands wanted to press. So when I would get around other piano players who were skilled, who learned the right way to do it, this deep rooted insecurity in me would just come up. I would freeze. I get embarrassed. I would skip events so I wouldn't have to play. And it got ugly for a long time. It got so bad that I remember when I would always go to a certain church, I would be so anxious. I'd be so anxious because I was like, they're gonna think I'm not good. I'm not good enough. I didn't know that was a trauma response. Like, I didn't know that. Another trauma response is, for a long time, if I have an event or if I was competing, I wouldn't invite anybody. And people would get mad. My friends would get mad and be like, Drew, why didn't you invite us? And I would say, it was just a little event. And they weren't just a little event. There was something that people wanted to support me. But my trauma response was, the last few times that I invited my trauma was the last times that I invited someone to come to an event, to come see me do anything, they didn't come. So the trauma response became, don't invite people. If we had a chance to sit with a therapist and to sit with God and realize, hey, who I am may not be who I really am, it's who I'm living like right now. But who I really am is not what I'm living like right now. I just got to get past some of this trauma. It's not to say that you just get like a one and done and all trauma is gone. No, but as you heal, as layers are revealed, you realize that there is some good that you're probably hiding. There is something inside of you that you may be shielding. There's probably not a lot of people who you can be your real authentic self. That word gets played out so much, but being your real authentic self means, hey, this is who I am. I got issues, I got flaws. This is how I think. This is who I am. I'm going to evolve, I'm going to heal, but this is who I am. My therapist told me this long time ago. The first time I took therapy, she said, God won't always reveal everything for you to work on at once. And my idea was, why doesn't he just reveal it at once so we can just do this one and done and get it over with? She said he can't because you wouldn't be able to handle it all at once. Story for I've said it many times, right? I had a real bad hatred towards my dad for years. That's actually how I got into therapy, where I wanted to see if I could solve that. And the first therapy sessions, it wasn't good. I'm not forgiving him. He did this, he did that. I'm not blah blah blah. I went crazy for years. I would cry in therapy. I would leave therapy mad. All sorts of stuff happened. And as the years went, layers began to be revealed. God began to prime me to forgive. I wanted to eventually forgive because I didn't want to hold this deep hatred in my heart, and I didn't want to hold on to just what it felt like to not love from a genuine place. And as I began to do that, I started to realize strongly that if this trauma gets healed or removed, I'm going to see other relationships differently too. I'm going to see it in a better light. I'm going to see my daughter, my wife, my friends in a different light. So of course the enemy's job is like, don't let him heal. Make it harder for him to heal. But I kept pressing through. And I'm saying this because I started therapy in 2021. This is now in 2024. My dad came to church with me the last two Sundays with him asking could he come. We sat together and I had no ill intent, no ill feelings towards him. That came from lots of work, lots of tears. But I want to encourage you, if you're thinking about, like, finding out why am I doing the things that I'm doing, why I am the way that I am, I encourage you to go on that journey because your voice needs to be heard. And trauma has a way of muting our voice. Trauma has a way of making us retract, has a way of making us retreat, and it has a way of making us feel that our voice isn't even worth it. Right? Again, a therapist would have way better language probably than I have, but I'm just speaking from experience from myself and from others. Go heal. And remember, as you are healing, give yourself a lot of grace. Give yourself a lot of grace. This is the spiritual mental part of the healing journey, right? Usually everyone wants the physical part, do 10 push-ups, do 10 chest presses, but this mental and spiritual part will give you a lot of great benefit. It will help you serve people better. It will help you be better for your family. But most of all, it's going to help you be better for you. So let me know in the comments. Let me know, leave me a message. Are you going to find out if your voice has been shut? And if it has been, are you going to do what it takes to turn your voice up, to unmute the voice button? If you're going to do that, let me know. Make sure you subscribe. Take care, guys. I'm out of here.